special presentation because like a study case on co-production of a new Slovenian film is not so often to be discussed. We are really happy and proud, and thank you, Špela and Tina, first to accept to present. We made a deal that actually there will be no content-wise, there will be no story to tell because we don't want to reveal much. You will see those some images, but let's try to understand how a project of short film can gather three countries together and what are the pluses and minuses, which we will then elaborate later on at the roundtable. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Igor, and thank you for this kind invitation to present this project at home, basically, even before it's finished. You said already, we are here at the table, quite many of us, too many producers actually. Of course, Špela as a director, with her we worked for some time together on all of her professional films. Fabian Drichos from Hamburg, from Fabian and French Productions, and Olivier, you've all met her and heard quite a lot today. So Steakhouse is, let's say, third art or Špela's author project that we are doing together now. And we started, this is just some basic facts. It will be the same technique as Nighthawk was. And we hope to deliver it, to have it ready in mid-next year or in the second half of next year. And but I will give the word now to Špela to tell you more, and we can discuss all this producing a bit later.
Yeah, today I'm going to leave as much as possible the work of the producer since we're focusing on them, because usually it's only the directors. But let me just tell you a little bit about the subject of the film. After Nighthawk, I opened up the subject of alcoholism as a subject as our societies are not really capable to open up and speak loud about it. So I realized that even though we do short animated films, we are capable to talk about with the public that it's like on the other side of the globe. And I had such a wonderful conversations about confessing alcoholism, about having alcoholism in families, that I was so touched that I can do that just by making a film. So I decided to take another difficult subject, and I'm dealing now with the subject of psychological violence. That is again, I think, a subject that we all find difficulties to talk about or deal with it when we face it. So yeah, but to the production of it, we are a small studio. I have two great girls working with me in the studio. We are really having this amazing atmosphere. We are making our own salads every day, and it's a really great place to work. And as Tina already said, it's a multi-plan cutout animation, and we are doing, because of budgets in Slovenia are, even though our films are more and more successful, the budgets are less and less successful, or are getting smaller and smaller. I don't know why this happens, what are we doing wrong, but we are sort of forced to find co-producers. And even though this can be a challenge, it's sometimes really tiring for the directors and for the main producers. It's not always just the bright side of it. It means a lot of traveling for me. In the moment I have to speak all my 4 languages with my crew. So this is sometimes difficult, especially the language barrier. It's sometimes difficult to cope with. But we had, for 5 weeks, we had a French animator visiting us, and she was great. She fit into our project really beautifully and animated some really marvelous shots. I'm just going to show you some more of the making of, how does it. This is the multi-plan table, and this is the main animator Zarya animating. So we are trying we're still searching. This technique has so much to offer, and I think we're just still discovering it from the beginning, and that's what I like about it. It's like, I really like doing it. It's and I believe that I'm going to do short films as long as I'm going to enjoy the process. But let me just show you now this. That's the teaser. No, that's not the teaser. Right? It's the next one. So let me just show you some moving images. Oh, is it already playing? Sorry. Soon will come more.
Yeah, so to come back to the starting side of it, from the production side, as Špela said, our funds are getting lower, or got very much lower since the first film that we did together, Boles. So that's the bad side, sort of, that we're still facing with, and we still haven't come back to what we had in 2009. But on the other side, there's a new, or not so much new anymore, thing that the television is basically forced to fund independent cinema. Because the film associations and the film community lobbied hard and long for this, that a part of the funds that the public television gets has to come back to independent cinema. And we've been lucky enough that we got that funding in its second year for Nighthawk and also for Steakhouse, so we managed to gather quite some already in Slovenia, and meanwhile also could apply to and were successful in this regional cooperation fund called REACT. It's a collaboration between the Slovenian National Fund, Croatian National Fund, and Friuli Venezia Giulia, and since this year also the Serbian Film Fund joined. So it's basically a support. It started as 10,000 support, and at times they lowered a bit to give it to more projects, to like 8,000. Just kind of top up to the national funds. So we already have to have some secured funding from the majority producer. We applied for REACT with Fabian here already as interested, and also Vanya Andrijević from Bonovo, because we worked on Nighthawk with her already. And actually it was the first animation project that even applied actually to REACT, the first short. Since then they have, so a year later, one other animation short also got this funding. But you know, life is not always turns out how you expect it. So our project took a different turn at some point. We were invited to apply for the Euro Connection Bridge in Clermont-Ferrand, which was in this January, February, yeah. And the applications were, I think, for like the national applications were sometime in early September. So, you know, all these, as you all know, all these procedures and applications back and forth take quite a long time. So at the time, of course, we had interest of Fabian, that we applied for it even, I think, but didn't have the results yet. So we were like, we had no idea, you know, if we were going to be successful, or were at some point also doubtful, because for Nighthawk, we were quite sure that we will be able to collaborate with our previous German co-producers whom we worked with on Bolas and didn't get the funding. So it was kind of like, okay, yes, we like Fabian and we met him in Annecy. So this meeting at festivals and meeting in person, as also Luce said, I think is so important that it can't be understated. And I would say also, I don't know, a first impression that you get of a person, you should at least, if not completely trust it, give it very, very good thought. Yeah, Fabian, he was pointed to us by a mutual friend connection, Annegret Richter from AG Kurzfilm, whom Špela met at Doc Leipzig while she was selector, so not Špela, but Annegret. So we applied to this pitch on the Slovenian side. Okay, we got into the main, let's say, selection round of the Euroconnection pitch. We still didn't know about Hamburg funding, and then comes January 2019, and in the same week we found out that we both got the German funding, so we would also be okay. We could work with that and a possible Croatian co-production, and that we got selected to the Clermont-Ferrand, the Euroconnection pitch. And of course, you don't back out from something like that, because it's also not fair, I think, to all the other projects and selectors and the whole processes. So there we met with Olivier, whom I think we were in discussions of possible co-productions since, I don't know, early 2010, or I don't know when you two met.
Can tell a story if you want. we met with Špela 15 years ago, so it's a long time ago. Yeah.
Which is old.
But I think for me, I had the idea to do some co-production with Špela when we were both at Cartoon Door. Remember, it was for Bolas, and I was there for Kiki, and I think we talked probably about possible co-production at this time. So when I decided to come back to production, I sent a word to Špela explaining, and she said, yes, I have a project now, I'm going to pitch in Clermont-Ferrand Reconnection, and then we decided to meet and to speak about the project. And it was funny because you had the pitch, and before going to Clermont-Ferrand, I talked about the project to you, and sending the application you sent to Clermont-Ferrand, and so we are more or less agreed to do the film together, but didn't meet yet. And during the pitch, I was next to another French producer who was very excited by the project, and he really wanted to do it. And after the pitch in Clermont-Ferrand, you have a meeting with producers interested by the project, and I don't know how many producers you met, especially French producers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very funny thing, all these pitches and meetups and all the. Of course, in a way, it's forced, and from another view, you need it also. I mean, as producers, as filmmakers, we need it also to for projects to develop and get done, or it makes things faster often. But what was funny, I think, to us is that, yes, we had many meetings, but the strange thing was really that you get then, you sit across other producers from mainly France, yes, who then are like, yeah, we're just starting, and we did a few live action films, don't have any clue about animation, but we love your project, And of course, So at that point, I would have liked those producers, the French producers, to be aware of, where they are and how they, I don't know, who they talk to. Because I don't think it's, because maybe we know, okay, no, we don't want to work with someone who's very new and doesn't have a clue about animation. And to maybe someone else who comes from, I don't know, if it's whichever country, Slovenia, Romania, Austria, whatever, and they're just eager to work with someone from France, because France has so much,
But I would say here, from the director's point of view, it's always good to know to know people you want to work with, and from there choosing the country that you want. I mean, France is of course the country with most money. But knowing the people, for me, that's why Germany is so dear, because I studied there and I still have friends that I still want to work with and I trust. So I think that's why it's really important, because you don't really get the money with co-productions. You get just people to work on the project, and it's good to know those people. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to co-produce with Poland, but I have never met a Polish, I don't know, editor or whatever you need on the end. And it's good to know what you need while you're looking for these co-productions.
I completely agree. No, I mean, I'm happy that we could find the artists that you already worked with, and that we can continue the collaboration, so that on the artistic side you don't have to make that much compromises, even if there is like an international co-production, and we also face that. We will probably talk about that later, because normally there's a lot of compromise that you have to make, because all the countries need a creative credits somehow involved in the things. And, so yeah, but it turned out well, so it was great, and we found out that we were studying together after we studied. Yeah, so it's a very nice coincidence that this happened. I was very convinced already in the beginning when you asked for this letter of intent, and was happy that you got the React fund. I mean, I couldn't do much but just write this letter. It was not much work for me, and so it started. And but I have to convince the German regional film funds also, and then it's really good if you can find some connections also for them with the artist, like with Špela, and then they understood that she already was very successful in Germany in festivals, that she became an Academy member, also very prestigious, and so besides the story, you kind of have to sell the whole package, and yeah, so then I'm happy that they supported that, and we can now start this process, because we kind of come late and we are more or less responsible for the post-production, music, sound, compositing, all these elements, so that we can, it's also like something that's maybe important to talk about in co-production, how you split work in a way that makes sense for the film and for the director. I mean, you can split almost everything in animation, but then it can also become very tricky, especially in the animation, if there's not like the right way to do it. And I think you had some challenges in the animation part, and it takes a lot of time till you kind of merge the whole team and the creatives to the one specific style that you're going for. Yeah, so
and for us, as it was not so easy to find the right answer to be part of the project, because it's a very specific technique also. So it's also regional fund in France. It is in north of France, Hauts-de-France. And so we asked the studio Train-Train, that maybe you know. They did, for instance, Rough House I was talking about, Jonathan House's films, was all done in Train-Train. They are working on Canadian film, but they are doing a lot of projects. In fact, it's a very small studio. It's a house, in fact, in Lille. And we discussed together who could do this project, but not everybody is able, even animators, and we went to Clémentine Robach, who did herself some short films in cutouts, and then went to. So she made some things in France, in Trentran, and she came 2 times in your studio to work with you. So it was probably a good option.
No, it was a good collaboration. She was great.
Yeah, but I think what you said is very important. It takes time, and especially if you've never worked, if you are working for the first time and kind of having challenges with the techniques and pipelines. I mean, it happens always, but you just have to count that in the time to do that, because the way the collaboration was supposed to happen with Clémentine was completely different in the beginning than what happened in the end. So, I think it was very important for us that from the French side we had enough room to be able to change that from kind of only online collaboration that in the end Clémentine was able to come here in person, and because that really worked beautifully.
Yeah, it was really beautiful that our plane company got bankrupt and she couldn't go back to France, so she just stayed for another 2 weeks. So it was actually really good because we in that time realized that she's much more useful if she's with us than this oral online animation communication, which is awful. Sometimes it's worked that way, sometimes the other, but as I said, it's a co-production game.
Can I intervene here,
Of
just
course.
maybe to, because also like, as I said before, we will just change after Špela will move back, and we'll call Vanya to join us, and we will talk more about co-productions. You mentioned Bonobo Studio at one stage, so they were cut off. That's also interesting to understand when you have a deal and then like it's not working anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we worked with Vanya before, and it was a good collaboration. Vanya is also the distributor of Nighthawk. Of course, it's a joint co-production, and it was hard for us to also have to take this decision. But in the end, we said it's a process, and we want to, learn something new, make a new step somewhere, and with this chance that was kind of happened, we just couldn't say no.
As I mentioned before, when you take a co-production, you take the people who will do part of the film or job. So, it didn't make sense to go to Croatia anymore because I'm still working with the Croatian editor on this film, but that's not enough to go and ask for a 4th country to be part of. I think already 3 already having 3, it's quite a gem, I'd say.
It's also you should be careful because like maybe the initial appetite and the wish to get as much money as possible, maybe it can change into something that is not good for the overall project if you understand that.
Definitely, and I think we can talk about that later, during the round. But just to make it clear, right now, France is a very minor co-producer right now. Here, it's like 12%, or I think something like that. So here, it's not about getting so much more funding, But really,
it was more like touching the ground of France. If there is something for us and getting to know Clémentine, it's like. But it's a little step in it. We didn't want to have it like a completely risk of taking everything from there and not knowing.
I'm very when I listen to Luce and anyway, I mean you as productions, they're all growing so fast, and I'm like, wow, so courageous. I mean, I think there we are just very much. Yeah.
Okay, but there is another point. Like when you have a co-producer, and in this case, then the film becomes Slovenian, but it becomes German and French as well, and it gets more exposure on national territories somehow as well, right?
Of course, that's also a big part of the puzzle that plays with
For Germany, it's like regional funds friends as well. And the regional funds, they are the most important because it's not easy to get like some national
In
funds.
Germany, you cannot apply for the national funds if you don't have a director from Germany included. So the regional funds are the most flexible there and the most supportive in that way.
But
it's
is that
also
German
very-
resident or German nationality?
No, not national, no, residents.
Resident.
Yeah, you have to pay the tax. So if that's the case, then it's not problem. No, yeah.
What about the language issue? Because we know Špela, she's stubborn and I think on the right way, she is making her characters speak Slovenian language. Will there be
No
spoken
producer
word?
has complained yet.
No, but I'm asking for funds, like in Germany, can this be a problem?
No, not at all. We have to deliver a German version, but it doesn't mean that it has to be dubbed. It can be subtitled. Yeah, we have to provide that, but it's for sure very easy to handle.
Olivier, in France, are there any construction restrictions?
No problem only for broadcasters, we need subtitles, but for the rest, there's no rules about that for short films.
Okay, so actually, to wrap it up, the budget is now closed, even though the film is already in production. Actually, you closed it while being in production or not? Because this is also something to be very...
Yeah, and that is not possible to go into production before you have closed the budget. So you can, of course, prepare things, but officially you can only go in production when you have like the full financing closed.
Anybody has a question? If not, I will maybe Špela something to add.
I'll just say I think this is a great thing with AnimatekaPRO. I just wanted to say that it's great that we get the chance to hear and talk about our background. So thank you for that.
I will just accept your thanks, but I would just like to see more students in the room. It was like the initial idea, because like, no, but also it's a proper way festivals should give like space for discussions like this, because between professionals it's easy to understand things and